You want to know about the champion? What makes you think I know the truth?
Don't lie to me. You knew him even before he became the champion.
The entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
So Robyn is here, and we're about to talk a little bit about Dragon Age 2, of course the sequel to Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 1 I guess, and Dragon Age 2. So how are you mixing things up for the sequel? And Origins obviously was a story about the origins, that was sort of the main thing about it, but how has it changed up for Dragon Age 2?
Well, obviously Origins, critically acclaimed, award-winning game. We've kept a lot of the great things about Origins that our fans know and love. And we changed really 3 key things, you know, to bring the franchise forward. The art style, the combat system, and the way we tell the story.
So in terms of if we go through those 3 things, if you look at the art style, what's changed? I mean, I really liked the art style of the first game. It took me back to like old classics that Bioware have been known for in the past and stuff like that. But how are you changing it for the sequel?
We're just, you know, we're advancing the franchise. It's grimmer, it's bloodier, it's sexier, you know, it's more realistic looking, there's more contrast. Our art director really wanted you to be able to look at an image from our game and identify it as something from Dragon Age 2. We wanted it to be ownable.
I enjoyed the combat of Dragon Age Origins. I felt that it really had that old sort of, you know, that sort of open style where I could do a lot of different things and I had a lot of freedom. How is it changing for the sequel?
Those things are all still there. You still have the freedom, you still have the strategy, you still have the tactics. It's just faster. When you're in combat, it is, you know, you press a button, something awesome happens. But, you know, you still have all those strategies. You're able to think like a general, but fight like a Spartan.
So, I mean, you had a lot of different ways to play the first game. You had different classes, different origin stories, and you could meld your character a lot. I understand that there's a little bit difference in terms of the hero of the second game. How does that change the experience?
We're telling the story in a new way. We've never ever done this before at Bioware, but we're using a frame narrative. It's used in movies like The Usual Suspects or The Princess Bride, where you have a third person that's kind of guiding you through the story. And our story spans an entire decade. And yes, we tell the story of Hawk, the champion of Kirkwall, during Hawk's rise to power. Hawk is a Ferelden refugee, so Hawk is only, you know, Fereldens are human. You know, so that's kind of given that, but also using that frame narrative, the advantage to it is it keeps you in the action. It drives the story forward. You could only get the most important parts of Hawk's life over that decade. So you really, really get to find out a lot about your character and get to know them really, really well.
Would you say that's a game, that this game is perhaps easier to get into to someone who has not played a lot of these kind of RPGs before?
I think so. You know, it blurs that line a little bit more between the core group of RPG fans and, you know, people that are more, you know, into the action. Me personally, I love that we have player VO now, because not only, you know, do you know what your player is saying, but you hear how they deliver it, and I think you form a more intimate bond with them. You know, like when you're reading a good book and your hero in the book is in a sticky situation, it's what keeps you going back is your bond with that character, and I think it really takes it to another level as far as, you know, the player, you know, at the controls and the player in the game.
If you played through Dragon Age Origins, maybe played through all of the different 6 origin stories and really put a lot of time into the game, what kind of extras can you expect to get out of the experience with Dragon Age 2?
You will be able to port over some of your decisions from Dragon Age Origins. How they affect Hawk's story will remain to be seen, but you will have that advantage. Something that we have seen in one of our demos is Flemeth returns. Some people may have challenged Flemeth and killed her, but she's the Witch of the Wilds, and some people are exceptions to the rules. So, you know, based on what decisions you make, you will see, you know, some advantages, maybe some disadvantages. Who knows?
Because in another Bioware franchise, Mass Effect, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the first 2 games, and I guess there's, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of decisions that are to carry through to the 3rd game. Is it similar in that, or is it on a smaller scale, or how would you say?
You know, I really can't speak to the future of the franchise. We're working on Dragon Age 2, and that's really our focus right now. And yeah, we've made the decision that you'll be able to port some stuff over. We also announced in London this week a Facebook game with a partnership with another EA studio. Bioware Edmonton isn't working on it, but you'll be able to play Dragon Age Legends on Facebook, and some of the stuff you do on Dragon Age Legends, you'll also be able to port over to Dragon Age 2. So we're constantly trying to add more value for our fans.
That sort of takes me to the sort of the treatment of Dragon Age as a big thing, living thing. It's like seeping into different kinds of areas. And I actually meant to talk to you a little bit about the Facebook game. What kind of experience will we get out of that, and how does it tie into Dragon Age 2?
You know what, I can't comment on that. I don't work on that game. I haven't even played it, so I'm going to leave that one.
But hopefully it will be.
Yeah, you know what, it's available. The beta is available already on the website, and like I'm going to try it out, but we've just announced that, and that's just become available, and I haven't got my hands on it, and I haven't talked to any of the developers working on the Facebook game, so I'll leave those comments up to them.
So, really, to me, I was a little bit surprised when Dragon Age 2 was announced that it's coming out that soon after the first game. How is that even possible? With such a, I mean, Dragon Age was such a massive undertaking, and it took a long time to get to where Origins launched. How is it possible to launch the sequel this fast?
Well, at Bioware, our games are very story-driven, and that story already exists. The Dragon Age world already exists. We're just building on that. And I think that's what's allowed us to transition a sequel so quickly, is that, that world is already there. We already have heard about the Free Marches and about Kirkwall. That's already, it's already out there. And now we're just showing you a different part of that world and telling, a different person's story in that same world. So I think there was a lot of foundation for us to build on, and, it picks things up.
And it hits this March.
Yeah, March 11th on Xbox, PS3, and PC in Europe.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
These are the ones that change the world forever.